Good morning. It is a wet and rainy day here in North Carolina, and this morning I went out photographing birds and got my equipment pretty wet and dirty. So today I'm going to show you how I clean my equipment, how I clean the lenses, how I clean the camera, and how I clean the sensor inside the camera. So come along and enjoy this adventure. Now, one question I get a lot from students is, there's a spot on my image. Every one of my images have a spot in the same spot. And usually that's caused by either having dirt on a spot on your lens, or more likely there's a spot on your sensor. So I'm going to divide this video up, timestamps down below, so if you don't want to see parts of this video, you can definitely go to different parts of this. But this part here, I'm going to talk about cleaning the lens. So the first thing I do is I detach the camera from the lens, and I put the protective plastic piece over the opening in the camera. And the reason for this is that I don't want any dirt that potentially could get in there on here. And as you can see here from where I'm working in a very clean area. So I put the camera aside. The next thing I do is I make sure the outside of the camera the outside of the lens is clean, especially this barrel here. And the reason for that is that, I have this cloth in my car, and every time I get into the car, I do this. And the reason for this is that when this barrel goes in and out, you don't want debris to get inside your lens. And I think this is one of the things that a lot of people run into. They have a spot inside their camera, or inside their lens, and that spot is caused by a piece of dirt or debris that got inside their lens. Now, there are filters and other systems in place to prevent that from happening, but if you don't want moisture or anything else getting into the camera or inside the lens, because it'd be very difficult to get it out. So the first thing I do is I take off my lens hood here, and I always clean this because I don't know how many times I have found cobwebs or dirt, debris that's just on this part here. So I just wipe this down with my cleaning cloth, and I put that to the side. Now, I always have my plastic covers on when it's not attached to the lens. I don't want to accidentally bang this and break my lens. So the first thing I do is take off my lens cover. Now, I'm going to leave a link to all these products below. This is an aftermarket lens cover for the Sigma lens here. I know they make it from the Tamron, and I think this is a good thing to have. I don't like the system that came with the camera, which was a plastic hood that went over it, or a leather hood, or whatever it was, a fabric hood that went over this, because it's just awkward to use. It doesn't stay on the lens, and it's heavy and something to carry through an airport. So the first thing I do is I take off my filter. Now, I use two different products for cleaning my lenses. And again, like I said, I do this every time or every other time I go in the woods. So the first product I use is these Zeiss disposable cleaners. They come in a little plastic bag here. You open them up, and inside is a damp cloth that you can use to clean your lenses or your binoculars. These work very, very well. You just take your lens, just wipe it down. This is a great system to have there. Now, if you have something heavier like a piece of dirt or mud on your lens, you can use a blower like this just to blow it off, which is a good thing to have. But these are great tools for cleaning your lens and stuff like that. The problem with this is they dry out really, really fast. And that can be a problem when you're cleaning multiple lenses or one product like that. So they're not economical to use. So the other product I use, which is much more economical, is a lens cloth and lens cleaner. Now, when you're cleaning the back part of your lens, you want to make sure if you have a zoom lens that's compressed. Now, the whole time I'm doing this, you notice I'm not touching any of the lenses. So what I'll do is I'll just spritz once inside there, and I make sure that I get it really good. Make sure you get all that moisture out of there, because you don't want any kind of moisture or wetness in there that could potentially damage your camera or your lens. Now, this stuff is designed for this, so it evaporates really fast, but I just make sure it's cleaned out. And at this point here, what I do is I put my covers back on and make sure that everything is protected, because I don't want to have any kind of dirt, debris that may be just bouncing around in this relatively clean surface getting on my lens here. So I just put my lens cover on and put my hood back on. In the next section, I'm going to talk about what I do to clean my camera. So I think we're going to step into the scary part of cleaning your camera. I know that when I first got my camera, the idea of cleaning my camera was very scary. I was so afraid of damaging something. So the first thing that I do is I just wipe down the entire camera. Make sure that there's no dirt, mud, debris, anything like that that's on my camera, just to keep it clean. As far as the LCD screen and the viewfinder in the back, I just spritz that with a little bit of cleaner, wipe it down. Now, with this Canon camera, there is a sensor so that when you put the camera up to your eye, it turns off the LCD in the back and has everything come through the viewfinder for your eye. I cleaned that because I wanted to work correctly, and I cannot believe how much debris, if I let this go for 2 or 3 days, it amazes me how much debris gets on there. Again, I might use this to, if something looks a little dirty, I'll put a little bit of that cleaner on there and just wipe it off and clean my camera. If I really have something that's dirty, I might use a some kind of Q-tip or something like that to get in there and clean it. But that's what I do. Now, for your sensor, this is probably the scariest thing for somebody to do, is to clean the sensor inside your camera. Now, the easiest way to clean your camera sensor is to shut your camera off. So when you turn your camera off, it cleans your sensor. And this is something I do every day. So if there's any loose dust or something like that, the filter vibrates a little bit and it falls off. And I usually hold my camera so that the sensor is pointing down so that it's not falling onto or inside the camera. But if that doesn't fix your spot, you still have a spot in your images and you need to clean your sensor. The first thing you need to do is buy yourself a sensor kit. These are sensor cleaning kits. These are relatively inexpensive and really easy to use. Now this one came with extra stuff like lens cleaners and some wipes here and stuff like that. But you don't need a lot of that. All you need is a sensor cleaning tool and some sensor cleaning fluid. This stuff is, for what I got, I think they were like $12 or $13 for this kit. For what I got, it seems like I spent a lot of money. So the first thing you do is you go to your back of your camera, you hit your menu, and every camera is a little bit different, and you go to your, inside your, in the Canon, the thing is wrench, it says sensor cleaner. You click sensor cleaner, clean now, and you hit OK, and that will clean automatically. Now you always want to do that first, because if there's a problem, this will do it. It goes through the sensor cleaning process 3 or 4 times. If your spot continues, go back to that same menu, hit sensor cleaning, and clean manually. And when it does, it says select OK to clean sensor. You hit OK. Turn the camera off after cleaning. That's kind of important to know. So at this point here, I will take my my cover off my sensor. I take my sensor cleaning tool and a little bit of fluid, and then what I do is carefully just press and go across. And that's all there is to it. It's that simple. Now look at your sensor and make sure there isn't any dirt or debris in there. If there is, maybe a little bit cleaner, but that's it. And I put back my cover here so that nothing gets into the camera here, or I put my lens back on, and that's all there is for cleaning the sensor. At this point here, I just turn the camera off, and now my sensor is clean. This is really easy for you to do. And again, I do this about once a week, once every 2 weeks. Well, I do the automatic cleaning probably once a week, and I do the manual cleaning once a month. One other thing I do is that when your camera came with you, there's a little piece of plastic that goes in here with the flash, and I leave that in there. The reason for that is that if I decide to use a flash, I want the thing to work. A little rust or debris can form in there, so having this there will protect your camera. At this point here, I put everything back together and I'm ready to go out and photograph wildlife. I'm hoping you got something out of this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel because that really helps us in the YouTube world. Become a Patreon supporter. Your support allows us to keep doing this. My name is Sean Leahy and thank you for watching.